Welcome to ilectureonline. Here we have something slightly different. Instead of a voltage source, we have a current source. It's a source of 5 amps with a phase angle of 0 degrees, feeding this circuit with current. And what we're trying to find is what is the current through the final resistor here. Let's call that the load resistor of 2 ohms. Notice we have another 2 ohm resistor here, an inductor and 2 capacitors, and various branches. So how do we figure that out? Well, sometimes it makes it easier by redrawing the circuit to make it look like this. It turns out that these are identical circuits. Notice that the current first flows through this 2 ohm resistor. It gets to this branch right here. On the left, we go to the capacitor. To the right, we go to the rest of the circuit. We first come upon the inductor, then we get to the next branch. At that branch, on the left side, we get a capacitor. To the right side, we get the load resistor. So sometimes it just makes it easier to see that. In addition to that, since we're going to need to find the various impedances of the circuit, I circled these two together, these two in parallel. Let's call that Z1. Then when we add the inductor with that, let's call that Z2. And then when we add the additional capacitor here to find the impedance of this whole circuit here, this portion of the circuit, let's call that Z3. And then we're going to find the current by seeing how it's going to split up between the left and the right branch in each case. So let's start by finding Z1. Now Z1 is the parallel branch of a resistor and a capacitor. So we use the product over the sum method. So that means the product would be 2 times a minus J2 divided by the sum, which would be 2 plus a minus J2. And so this becomes equal to a minus 4J or minus, I'll write the J first. So minus J4 in the numerator divided by 2 minus J2 in the denominator. Now to go ahead and do that division, we should convert that into the magnitude and phase angle format. So this would be equal to a magnitude of 4 with a phase angle of minus 90 degrees. And in the denominator, that looks like it's going to be a magnitude of, well, let's see here. What's the square root of 8? Square root of 8 is 2.83 with a phase angle of minus 45 degrees. Now we can do the division. So take the inverse of that, multiply times 4, and we get 1.41 with a phase angle of minus 90. That's plus 45. That would be minus 45 degrees. All right. So that would be Z1. Now we're going to add Z1 to that inductor, the inductive reactance. So when we're going to add, we should reconvert that back into the real and imaginary parts. So this is equal to 0.45, that's 0.707 times this. Well, that makes it, let's see, 1 minus J1. And I believe that's correct. Let's say 45, take the cosine, times 1.41, and sure enough, that would be 1 minus J1. That is equal to Z1. So now we're ready to calculate Z2. Z2 is going to be equal to Z1 plus the inductive reactance of the inductor. It's going to be equal to 1 minus J1. Add that to X sub L, and X sub L is going to be a plus J4. So this is going to be equal to 1 plus J3. So this here is Z2, and since we're going to add that to this capacitor, which is in parallel, to find Z3, and there we're going to use the product over the sum rule, we better convert that back into magnitude and phase angle. So that would be 10, take the square root of 10, that gives us 3.16. And that would be with a phase angle of 3, take the inverse tangent of that, that's 71.565 degrees, 71.565 degrees. And so this here would be Z2 in magnitude and phase angle format. Now we're ready to add that to this capacitor here to find Z3. And so there we're going to use the product over the sum rule. So Z3 is equal to the product. So we take 3.16 with a phase angle of 71.565 degrees and multiply that times. Here, let's use this as a magnitude of 2 with a phase angle of minus 90 degrees. So the magnitude of 2 with a phase angle of minus 90 degrees, because it's a capacitor. So now we divide that by the sum of the two. So now we go back to this format, 1 plus J3, and add that to minus J2. So minus J2. So in the numerator, we get 3.16 times 2, that is equal to 6.32 with a phase angle of minus 90 added to that. So 71.565 minus 90, that gives us a minus 18.435 degrees in the numerator. In the denominator, we'll get 1 plus J1. 1 plus J1, which we have to convert back to magnitude and phase angle to do the division. 6.32 with a phase angle of minus 18.435 degrees, divided by, that would be the square root of 2, which is 1.41 with a phase angle of 45 degrees. So finally, Z3 would be equal to 6.32 divided by 1.41. That gives us 4.48. With a phase angle of, let's see here, that would be add 45 to that, so that's 63, so minus 63 point, how about 43 degrees. All right, so there's Z3 in magnitude and phase angle format, but just so we can also use it to add, we're going to reconvert that back into the real imaginary part. So 63.43 degrees. That's correct, right? 63.43 degrees. Yep, we take the cosine of that and multiply times 4.48 equals, we get 2. So this is equal to 2 and minus J, 63.43. Take the sine of that times 4.48, and that gives us 4, minus J4. All right. So this is the real and imaginary part of Z3. So next what we want to do is start to find the current I1 and then current I2. To do that, we take I1 to be equal to the input current from the source, and then we see how it's dividing between these two branches right here. So we can say that I1 is equal to I of the source times the ratio of the impedance of the other branch, which is minus J2, divided by the sum of the impedance of the left branch and the right branch. The right branch, that would be Z2, and the left branch would be minus J2. So it looks like I never needed Z3, but that's okay. So minus G2 plus Z2. All right, let's go ahead and plug everything in and see what that's equal to. So this is equal to IS, the source, which is 5 with a phase angle of 0. Multiplied times, let's convert this. So when we convert this, this becomes 2 with a phase angle of minus 90 degrees. And then in the denominator, well, since Z2 is equal to this, right? So in the denominator, we end up with minus J2 plus 1 plus J3. So it looks like in the denominator, we're going to end up with a, let's combine this. So this is going to be equal to 1 plus J1. And when we rewrite this, this is equal to 5 with a phase angle of 0 degrees times 2 with a phase angle of minus 90 degrees. And in the denominator, we're going to get 1.41 with a phase angle of 45 degrees because it's 1 in the real and 1 in the imaginary part. So that's equal to that. So that's equal to 10 divided by 1.41, which gives us 7.09. That's going to have a phase angle attached to it of minus 90, minus 45, or minus 135 degrees. So this is the current in I1. So that's the current coming down to this branch right here. The next, we want to find I2. So again, it's going to split between these two branches. So to find I2, that is equal to I1 times the ratio of the impedance in the other branch, which would be, again, a minus J2, divided by the sum of the two impedances, minus J2 plus the impedance of this branch, which is a resistor, which is just simply going to be 2. All right, so then if we want to make that calculation, first we get I1, which is 7.09 with a phase angle of minus 135 degrees. Multiplied times the numerator is going to be 2 with a phase angle of minus 90 degrees, because it's a capacitor, divided by, here we have a 2, that would be 8, square root of 8, 2.83 with a phase angle of, that's a positive 2 and a minus J2, that would give you a minus 45 degree angle. All right, so notice when we bring this to the numerator, it becomes a plus 45. This gives us a minus 90, which is minus 180, and we get 7.09 times 2 divided by 2.83, which is equal to 5. So it would be 5 with a phase angle of minus 180 degrees. This is kind of interesting. What we see here is essentially that the magnitude of the current through the load resistor is equal to the magnitude of the source current, but shifted by 180 degrees. So basically, this circuit became a phase shifting circuit of 180 degrees, and we have the same current flowing to the resistor as we get coming from the source. And that's how it's done.